What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck centered around Toxapex-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, now this one is going to be one that might drum up some very negative emotions, and that's not my intent. I just want to have this as kind of like an open conversation about it. And what is your least favorite part of the Pokemon TCG? Now, before I answer, I want to preface this by saying I love this game. I mean, there's a reason I play it. There's a reason I do it on YouTube. I mean, I love this game. This is a very, very fun game. And as much as myself and Aura and other people say, oh, I hate this game, this is a dumb game for dumb people, we love this game. Otherwise, we wouldn't be playing it. So I just want to throw that out there before I answer it for myself. And honestly, my least favorite part of the game, very relevant to this deck actually, coin flips. Now, coin flips can stem anywhere from like the coin flip to begin a match, coin flips from attacks, coin flips from effects, all of that. A lot of the negative experiences I have with the TCG are a result of coin flips. Now, coin flips have undeniably had a huge impact on the game. Crushing Hammer, for starters. That card just never seems to die. It will never go away. I mean, just flip a coin, you can discard an energy. Just a very 50-50 card that you guys all know that I hate to death. Back in Black and White with Hypnotoxic Laser, flipping for sleep, you're technically able to keep your opponent asleep if they're able to flip enough tails. In fact, there have been matches where I have lost simply because, I kid you not, 10 turns in a row that and then this is 10 flips, not 10 full turns. I mean, I flipped, my opponent flipped, or my turn, my opponent's turn, my turn, my opponent's turn, etc. 10 flips, stayed asleep, and I lost the game off of that. So, Hypnotoxic Laser, Crushing Hammer, even in the format where, okay, don't get me wrong, Night March was a cancerous format in my opinion. It was just Night March and things that beat Night March. But a lot of those matchups were decided by the coin flip at the start of the game. Now, that wasn't so much the coin flip, as I said, as it was a reflection of the meta of the time. But in a lot of those matches, whether or not you won the coin flip determined whether or not you lost the game, particularly against Trevenant type decks or in Night March mirror matches and stuff like that. So coin flips, it's just, I mean, it is luck in its purest form, in my opinion. I mean, just straight up luck in its purest form. It is a true 50-50. You have absolutely zero control over it. And yeah, there are things you can do to influence it, like Victini or the promo Malamar or Trick Coin, where you can try to make it more in your favor. But coin flips inherently are the purest form of luck, and to have matches, championships decided by coin flips is just something that I do not like. And don't get me wrong, what they've done in tournaments where, yeah, they have to flip a coin to see who goes first, but then you get to choose, that helps eliminate a little bit of it. But when I'm just playing on the versus match, or on the versus ladder, or in tournaments in TCGO, a lot of it's like, well, I haven't gone first in 10 to 13 matches. That's fantastic. So, just luck in its purest form, influencing matches through coin flips is my least favorite part about the TCG and what I dislike most. But again, I love this game. That's why I keep playing it. Let me know what your guys' least favorite parts about the TCG are in the comment section below and why. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. But anyway, onto the deck, like I said, centered around Toxapex-GX. Now, this card is bad. I'm not going to beat around the bush on it. This is a very, very bad card. But I ran into this deck on the ladder. It was actually a really cool one. It was a deck centered around Toxapex, Fliptini, and Eeveelutions, so I decided to give it a try for myself. Toxapex, 210 HP, so not bad. Spike Cannon, 1 energy, does 30 damage times the number of heads. If you flip 4 coins, that's where the inherent synergy with Toxapex and Fliptini comes into play. Super intense poison. I've wanted to do a deck centered around this, but it's just not, unfortunately, that practical because it's 3 psychic energy. You can't take advantage of Dimension Valley in Expanded or anything like that. 3 psychic energy, you gotta get 3 psychic energy on there, and it's just, not something that you can particularly use efficiently. And then Total Shelter GX, if you have 3 energy on this Pokemon, you're going to be using Total Shelter. 150 damage, and you prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon next turn. So, very, very nice GX attack. Hits for 150, 180 with the Choice Band, and you can boost those with Eeveelutions against type-weak Pokemon. So, just a very solid GX attack, but yeah, never using super intense poison in this deck, unfortunately. However, with the combination of Spike Cannon and Toxic Shelter, this deck can do some damage. Now, I'm obviously pairing it with Eeveelutions just to boost the damage output. I mean, against grass decks, flying decks, and fire decks, Toxapex can potentially one-shot GXs with the right number of flips in certain situations. So that's really what I'm going for. And then obviously, the Fliptini is the last Pokemon Victory Star once during your turn. After you flip any coins for an attack, you may ignore the results of those coin flips and flip again. Can't use more than 1 Victory Star. So unfortunately, you can't stack Victini. You can't have a Toxapex out and 4 Victini and just be like, well, I'm just going to flip 4 sets of coins or 5 sets of coins until I get one that I want. No, unfortunately, you only get 1. So benching 2 Victini does not do you any good. And so as for the lines of Pokemon, 2 Eevee and 3 Eeveelutions, just so we don't have like the run of 1 Eevee and then have that one thing be prized. 1-2 of Shaymin and Lele, just kind of what I've been going with recently. It works well for me. And, I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 2 Fliptini, again, just so they don't get prized. Can't stack the Victory Stars, so there's no use in playing both of them down. 2, just make sure you have them when you want them. 4 Mareanie, because, I mean, deck's centered around Toxapex, so you want to have as many Mareanie to be able to get your Toxapex out. And then 3 of the Toxapex-GX, because if your opponent knocks out 3 GXs, you lose anyway. But I'm also running 1 of the Toxic Spikes Toxapex, because having your opponent come in poisoned helps out with a lot of the math in certain situations. I found in my testing with this deck, Spike Cannon leaves me just short sometimes to where all I need is like 1 heads to knock out my opponent. Toxic Spikes has come in handy actually in a good amount of times to where I highly recommend running them if you decide to run a Toxapex GX. Particularly in Expanded, because you can combine that with a Verbank to get a lot of damage. As for the items, 1 Field Blower to try to shut down Garbodor. I mean, let's be honest, you're probably going to lose to Garbodor anyway because Toxapex is Psychic weak. But this way, if your opponent isn't running like Trashalanche and is just running the Garbotoxin, you can shut that off. Or you can turn off Garbotoxin so that we are able to use the abilities that this deck relies on. 2 Level Ball, search out Marienie's and Eeveelutions as well as Victini. Level Ball is great in this deck. 2 Max Potion, actually. Sorry, not 1. 2 Max Potion, because Toxapex will be attacking for 1 energy 99% of the time. That way, if it gets hit, Max Potion it up, heal off all the damage, put 1 energy back on there, and you're ready to go. 1 Rescue Stretcher as opposed to Super Rod. I don't know, I might try Super Rod. It might be a little bit better than Rescue Stretcher, but I like Rescue Stretcher just because you really don't need the energy all that much because you're attacking for 1 energy, and this way you can get a Pokemon directly into your hand. 4 Ultra Ball guaranteed, get us what Pokemon we want when we want. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. And then as for these supporters, standard 3-3-2 line of Sycamore and Lysandre. I like that line, it's just what I've been going with and it works for me. 1 Kukui helps boost the damage output from Spike Cannon a little bit, help you get those 1-hit knockouts, because with Eeveelutions, Kukui essentially turns into a plus 40 damage, and that is something that is absolutely huge in a lot of situations. So Kukui, very strong in this deck, particularly against decks that are weak to Toxapex, or the Eeveelutions as well. 1 Lillie, we run enough evolutions to where first turn Lele into Lillie is always nice, and 1 Hex Maniac. Just turn off abilities of our opponents, like in cases where I only need like 1 heads or something like that, to where I can just be like, okay, slow yourself down, here's a Hex Maniac. And even though this deck relies a lot on abilities and a lot on attacking abilities, Hex Maniac is so strong that I think you really need to play it in this deck. 3 Altar of the Moon help with retreat cost. Toxapex has a nasty 3 retreat cost. But what is nice about Altar of the Moon is it essentially turns Toxapex into just having a 1 retreat, which you can get rid of that psychic energy for. So just very nice in that regard, and also just getting free retreat on everything else. Oh, except for this other Toxapex. Man, Toxapex is fat. I didn't realize how fat it was. But yeah, essentially turning everything into free retreat or 1 retreat, which is always nice. 3 Choice Band help get the damage output that we want when we want it. 2 Float Stone, put on Eeveelutions, put on the Toxic Spikes, Toxapex. Free Retreat to help out, that way we don't have to attach energy in order to be able to take advantage of Free Retreat with Altar of the Moon. And finally, 9 Psychic Energy, maybe a little much, but I want the option of being able to go for Toxic Shelter, or Total Shelter. Sorry, I kept calling it Toxic Shelter. It is Total Shelter. I guarantee if I'm going to use that during this live, I am going to say Toxic Shelter, just because, I mean, hey, Toxapex is poison, right? So, yeah, 9 energy to allow me to be able to potentially Total Shelter if I need it. And, yeah, that is pretty much the deck. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action. Also, one last thing. In case you can't tell, coin flips make me very salty. And what is this deck centered around? Coin flips. So I'm giving a salt warning right now. I can guarantee in this live I will get salty. So for those of you that like to complain about me being salty, take the deck list and run. Don't watch forward, because you know what? I know me, and I know that if I'm using a deck around coin flips, I'm just going to get irretrievably salty. So yeah, salt warning, spoilers. Well, not spoilers, just salt warning, disclaimer. There we go. Disclaimer, not spoilers. All right, so yeah, let's now see what this deck can do. Alrighty, we have found one against, looks like a, whoa, that was a plain grass deck. That caught me off guard, because normally you see, like, grass and psychic, grass and normal, something to that effect. And alright, we start off with a mulligan. I'm very curious to see what my opponent is running. I mean, I'm not sure what type of grass deck would be just pure grass. Maybe it's quad Decidueye, something that I have absolutely no idea about. But I do start off with, I gotta get rid of my poison Toxapex immediately. That's unfortunate. But luckily, I mean, I will be able to have an Eeveelution out. Or not an Eeveelution, an Eevee out. I'll be able to Ultra Ball for a Mareanie, be able to slap a Choice Band and a Psychic Energy on there, and then potentially get a Flareon out onto my Eevee, because this is very obviously a Fomantis deck, or a Lurantis GX deck. And already, so let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the N and the Jolteon to grab. Yeah, let's just grab a Mareanie, just so, I mean, that way I can have that thing down, get that thing powered up, start getting it ready to go. Sycamore away the Retreat Poison Toxapex, unfortunately, and I get a Float Stone, so that's actually, get a Float Stone, another Mareanie, and an Eevee, so that's not bad at all, actually. I'm just going to end my turn right there. If my opponent is able to knock out my Eevee, that's fine. I really don't care all that much. I mean, yeah, he'll have to get, he'll have to get like a, he'll have to get a Kukui. Yeah, he'll have to get a Kukui in order to be able to knock out my Eevee this turn. So that is fine with me. Worst case scenario, I just attach the Float Stone, retreat into my Mareanie, try to evolve that thing into a Toxapex, try to get a Flareon up. That way I can potentially one-shot a Lurantis with a 3 heads Spike Cannon. And alright, my opponent is just... Okay, that's kind of cool with Shiinotic. I mean, it's reminiscent of Dragon Call, the Dragon Call Gabite. Being able to just search for another Gabite, which searches for another Gabite, which then searches for what you want. And I'm going to have to get rid of yet another Psychic Energy, or yet a couple more Psychic Energy. That is not ideal at all. I mean, yeah, I only attack really with one, but I actually draw into a perfect hand. I'm okay with this. Let's slap a Choice Band onto my other Mareanie. Level Ball 4. Yeah, you know what? Let's just grab my last Mareanie. Might as well get as many Toxapex up and going as I can. Retreat into my Mareanie that's Choice Banded. Actually, wait. Both my Victini were prized. Oh, man. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to go off whatever I get from Spike Cannon. Get 2 heads. That's fine. Man, what are the odds of both my Victini being prized? Oh, well. I mean, I was searching through my deck. I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll just grab a Mareanie. But after I grabbed it, I was like, wait. I didn't see a single Victini in there. That's awkward. So, yeah, both Victini prized in that game. But the fact that I was just able to get a Toxapex up and going with a Flareon in the back was too much for my opponent, so they conceded. But, yeah, very short match. At least I got to use an Eeveelutions. Let's try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Rhino 1216. No, I don't even know. Either way, Rhino with a bunch of numbers. Looks like a Garbodor deck, which could be very, very extremely bad for us. I start off with the Mareanie and nothing else. So I'm going to have to be very, very careful about how many items I play in this matchup. Because all I truly need is one Toxapex, and there's a Mew. Interesting. But, okay, so let's get rid of the Lysandre and the Flareon. To grab a Lele, that way I can grab an N. Because I really... okay, I'm working under the impression that this is Garbodor right now. I really do not want to throw a bunch of items in there. Because if I do, then obviously that just powers Garbodor up to where he'll be able to just destroy my Toxapex thanks to the Psychic weakness. So this is a very bad matchup for us to begin with. But, okay, so I get some stuff I can work with for next turn. Do I want to play the Eevee down? Because it might help with the Shaymin. But you know what? I think I'm going to hold on to the Eevee. That way I have it as discard fodder for later. Because what I can do next turn is Ultra Ball for a Toxapex-GX. And then try to one-shot this Mew. All I need is just 2 heads in order to be able to knock it out, or a Choice Band and 1 head. So that's looking good for me right now. Yeah, my opponent... Oh, my opponent just Lysandre's in the Lele. I mean, that's fine because I have the Float Stone in my hand. But I should be able to win this next turn. I mean, unless I draw absolutely atrociously. But my opponent... Wow. Had to just... What does Bailout do? Oh, okay. So he hasn't played a Pokemon yet. So I get another Lele. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball. Get rid of the Lysandre and the Eevee to grab that... Let's just grab the Toxapex-GX. And I could go all out on this turn. I could N. It gives my opponent a fresh hand, which he clearly had nothing from. Or I could just try to retreat into my Toxapex and knock him out. Let's Lele for the time being. Let's actually grab a Sycamore. That way I don't give my opponent a fresh hand. And then, I mean, let's play the energy onto... Let's play the energy onto Lele because why the heck not? And I need a Victini or a Choice Band. I get neither. So that's very unfortunate right there. I mean, I just need 2 heads. I need 2 heads to be able to win this game. Let's play down a couple Mareanie. I don't think Eeveelutions are going to be doing much for me this game at all. So as long as I get 2 heads, I will be able to win. Well, alrighty then. That was the biggest middle finger the game has ever given me. Wow. That was a, oh, you needed 2 heads? Yeah. No. You get absolutely 0. Then again, I guess I should expect that coming from this game. Because... there's one thing that everybody knows, it's that this game does not like me one bit. But my opponent does play a Cosmog down, so it looks like this is a Lunala deck. Okay, so I can be more liberal with how I play my items because I don't think, or at least it does not appear, that I have to worry about Garbodor. My opponent just plays down the Cosmog. Does that mean he must have top decked it? But really, I don't know what else my opponent is gonna do. Did I freeze? Okay, my opponent just Spike Cannons, and as long as he doesn't get 3 or 4 heads, well, he gets 1. So, whew, I was actually kind of worried for a second. Let's play Alter the Moon. Go ahead and play an energy onto a Mareanie. Sycamore away my hand. Maybe now I can get a Victini or a Choice Band or something. There's the Victini. It's about dang time. And I have a Max Potion for next turn if my opponent is able to knock me out. But for the time being, let's just Ultra Ball, grab a Toxapex, play that sucker down. And yeah, now let's Spike Cannon, hope we can get 2 heads, maybe. There, okay, no, 1, jeez. So, alright, there we go, okay. And that's fine. Alright, I'm able to knock out the Mew. Only got a ton of heads, and only got a ton of tails in the process. Whew, that was actually a little bit scary. I was a little bit worried about that, admittedly. because coin flips hate me so much. I mean, look at that. 1 head and 8 tails. Yeah, it doesn't factor in the flips, reflips with Victini, but you know what? That's still awful. I mean, the head to tail ratio, just for both of us, was atrocious in this game, but we still managed to win, and hopefully that luck does not continue over into the next game, so fingers crossed. Let's try to find another one. Alrighty, we have found another one against a Toolminator with a normal and, well, a water and normal deck. There we go. So it doesn't look like the Eeveelutions will be doing too much for us in this match, except for like a random Shaymin, but even then I feel like Victini plus Choice Band would be enough. And, well, speak of the devil, I start off with a Victini. Not the best starting hand. I mean, I'd like an N. And unfortunately... Oh, I get a Mareanie. Okay, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and play that there. Slap a Choice Band onto it. And I really don't like having to do this, but I have to get rid of my poison, my Retreat Poison, Toxapex, and a my Retreat Poison, Toxapex, and my Rescue Stretcher, which means that not only is that thing just gone permanently, but I have nothing else like that for the rest of the game. Like, I have no way of getting it back. So... well, I guess I kind of covered that when I said that's gone permanently. So, yeah, there was me rambling and... oh, no. Please don't be Crushing Hammer. Or please don't be Quad Lapras with Crushing Hammer. That'd make me very, very sad. Luckily, my opponent did get tails on that, and we see the Manaphy come down. I mean, this still very well could be Quad Lapras. I mean, due to the fact that some Quad Laprases play the Manaphy for free retreat. And okay, my opponent just played that and had nothing else. Do I want to play the Eevee down? Yes, you know, I'm going to play the Eevee for the sole purpose of being able to take advantage of Rough Seas. I'm going to try to evolve it into a Jolteon so that I can, like I said, take advantage of the Rough Seas. I did not give my opponent a new hand because they didn't even play an energy that turn. They literally just played a Pokemon Fan Club. And I have Toxapex. So that's actually really nice. So let's go ahead and retreat Victini into Mareanie. Play down Mareanie right there. Go ahead and evolve into Toxapex. And yeah, let's Spike Cannon, see what we can get going. Actually, 3 heads and 1 tail. I am going to hold on to that. Just hit the Lapras for a solid 120 damage. This way, I mean, even if he Rough Seas, I still just need the 3 heads in order to be able to knock him out next turn. My opponent does Sycamore. So, I mean, I guess I could have end him, kept my Retreat Poison Mareanie, and there's the Rough Seas. So, definitely going to try to get a Jolteon later in the game if I can. And what would be kind of cool is if we would be able to stack Victory Star. Like, if you'd be able to use 1 Victory Star, and then be like, actually, you know what, I still don't like it, I'm going to do it again. And the more Victinis you play down, the more Victory Star abilities you get. And, fortunately and unfortunately, that's not the way it works, but still would be kind of cool. For now, let's Ultra Ball grab that Jolteon. I'm grabbing Jolteon because I have more Toxapex in the deck, so I'm more likely to draw into them. So I might as well just go ahead and play my Jolteon now. Go ahead and grab that while I have the ability to, and then I could Sycamore or Kukui to have a more guaranteed knockout. I'm just going to Sycamore, get a fresh hand, see what I get, and ooh, that's nice. So let's grab, well, not grab. Let's play down another Toxapex. Unfortunately, I did not get another energy, but as long as I get 3 heads, I'm fine. And yeah, we got him. First try. So let's knock out this Lapras and take a couple prizes, and now we are in a phenomenal position. What I might even do, Lysandre up that Manaphy and try to knock it out with a 3-head Spike Cannon once again. So we're in a fantastic position right now. I have Float Stone that I can throw onto... Actually, yeah, I have a Float Stone that I can throw onto Victini. My opponent can collect this turn, which is obviously fine with me. If he draws more cards, that's okay. My opponent ends, that's fine. I'm completely okay with that because I don't want to have to just discard a crap load of stuff. And ooh, I get a... okay. So my opponent Aqua Patches, that's interesting. But I have the N, I have the ability to Sycamore next turn. I got another Psychic Energy that I can hit this Lapras, that I can play onto my Toxapex in order to be able to hit this Lapras. And what do I want to do? Let's Kukui That way I hit for a little bit more damage and also don't have to get rid of another VS Seeker. Let's level ball, thin out the deck a little bit, see what else there is. There is a Shaymin, there is a Lele. Let's just grab the Mareanie. Don't necessarily think I need to play it down, but wow, why did my Psychic become a Fire Energy once again? But let's go ahead and Spike Cannon. I can go for the Toxic Shelter GX to be able to knock out the Lapras next turn, and I get 2 heads, 90 damage. I mean, that's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, as long as... Okay, so I'm in a very good position, because even with the Rough Seas, Toxic Shelter will be able to knock out my opponent's Lapras next turn, no matter what. And I think I'm just going to go for that instead of trying to get 3 heads with Spike Cannon, because even though I've been doing pretty decently with Spike Cannon thus far in this game, I still would rather not risk it unless I absolutely had to. So, I mean, either way, I'm in a great position. My opponent's Lapras isn't even powered up yet. Like, yeah. Actually, I don't even need to get a 3 energy spike or 3 head Spike Cannon, because I can just simply Kukui again, and then a 2 Spike Cannon would be able to do the same. So, oh, my opponent just escape ropes. I'm just gonna promote Jolteon because, I mean, free retreat. Rather not promote anything else. Manaphy. I mean, Manaphy can't do much of anything. Maybe if my opponent hits like an Aqua Patch or something like that, or a Max Elixir, he'd be able to knock out my Jolteon. But either way, oh, he just Sycamore's away his hand. Wow, he got rid of a ton of good resources with that one. Oh no, Crushing Hammer. Oh jeez, God, I hate Crushing Hammer. Oh no, not another one. No, no. Oh, I hate this game. This is a stupid game. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. Please, like, yeah, I'm actually really salty about that one. That was stupid, but I highly dislike Crushing Hammer. And I mean, you do what you got to do, but I'm gonna retreat into my Toxapex. Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a Lysandre, so I can't bring up that Lapras and try to knock it out. But what I can do is simply just Sycamore away my hand and try to be able to knock out this this Manaphy, because if I can get 3 heads right here, I knock out the Manaphy. And do I want to play... Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold on to my... I'm going to hold on to it for now. Alright, 3 heads. 3 heads. 1 more. No. Alright. Screw it. I'm going to go for it. I want knockout. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. That's how it works. Oh, that's dumb. So, getting very unlucky with coin flips now. I mean, I was doing very well in the beginning of this game, but now all of a sudden I'm just doing atrociously with my coin flips, and that's kind of unfortunate because my opponent hit both of those Crushing Hammerheads. I mean, if my opponent didn't, then I would be in a much better position. Well, obviously I'd be in a much better position, but the 2 heads from my opponent, and then just the myriad of tails I got in that on my turn just puts me in a very bad position, because yeah, now my opponent can Ice Beam me, paralyze me. That way I can't attack, and I need like a switch or something, but I'm not even sure that I have one. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna have to Sycamore. I want a fresh hand, and I want to start powering up my Toxapex in the background. Oh, those Crushing Hammer. I hate those things so much. On the bright side, I do have another Toxapex that I can start, that I can play down, and I have a Lele for later if I want it. Do I want to play down my Altar of the Moon now, or just end my turn? I'm gonna go ahead and play it. That way my opponent cannot heal, because, okay, he'll be able to knock me out with a Blizzard Burn this next turn regardless. I mean, there's nothing I can do. Blizzard Burn is just plain and simple gonna knock me out. And my opponent will be able to take 2 prizes, and we'll all just go from there. But what I can do is just have my Okay, never mind, he's Skyla's. Of course he had a Skyla to be able to get that Rough Seas. Of course he did. So this is not going particularly well. I mean, it started off fantastic, but it's starting to go downhill very quickly. And, I mean, yeah, my opponent's Lapras all of a sudden is getting close to I mean, it's getting close to just being back at full health. He's able to Blizzard Burn, knock out my Toxapex. And, yeah, so not in a very good position right now. What I am going to do is promote the Jolteon because free retreat. Play the energy onto the Toxapex. Let's Lele, see what I can get. I want to grab a Sycamore or a Lysandre. Let's grab a Sycamore. Yeah, let's grab a Sycamore just so I'll be able to evolve. I mean, just so I'll be able to have that later. And actually, I'm just going to end. I wanted to see what supporters were still left in my deck. And okay, I get something that I can work with. First, I'm going to go ahead and counter that Rough Seas. I mean, that's just first and foremost. Let's retreat into my Toxapex. Do I want to... Yeah, let's play the Field Blower, get rid of the Choice Band and the Float Stone. That way my opponent, like... I mean, I guess he still has the regular water, so he'll still have free retreat. But alright, let's go for... Spike Cannon, once again, screwing me over. Alright, come on, come on. Alright, so I get something. Yeah, Spike Cannon is really failing me right now. This is not looking particularly good. I mean, I have a draw supporter for next turn. I can Toxic Shelter to knock out the Lapras. I mean, I have resources to be able to continue on and do pretty well. Yeah, my opponent will be able to get rid of my Choice Band and my Altar of the Moon, but that is fine with me. Like I said, I can simply Toxic Shelter to be able to knock out the Lapras, or I can... Actually, I'd probably just Poison it to be able to knock it out. My opponent... Oh my gosh, my opponent Delinquents too. Oh, that sucks. That sucks so much. And Fighting Fury, but wow, okay. This is looking very, very bad. The fact that my opponent got that Fighting Fury Bell is actually horrible. And my opponent just retreats into the Manaphy. That's fine. Okay, I have a Shaymin. Please Psychic Energy. I need a Psychic Energy. Unless... Alright, I don't get it. Wow. So, what I am going to do... God, that Delinquent. Of course my opponent drew into that. That's... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get salty, but that's just very frustrating that that happened that way. I mean, even if he... yeah, let's just go ahead and hit this Lapras. I could have gone for the forehead knockout, but... And even my Field Blower is coming back to bite me. If I hadn't gotten rid of that, I would have been able to knock out this Lapras in one hit to be able to win the game. And, okay, all I need... Never mind, my opponent... Oh my gosh, this is annoying. This is so freaking annoying right now. Oh my gosh, that's bad. So, okay, sorry, trying not to be salty. I'm really trying not to be salty. I mean, I'm just going to take the knockout on this Lapras. Yeah. And once again, I mean, I didn't need it right there, but my Field Blower came back to bite me. My opponent was able to draw into Delinquent perfectly. I need my last Psychic Energy to have a chance, which I do draw into, luckily. And man, that Team Flare grunt. Because if... Okay, my opponent is just going to be that guy and draw pass. I need 4 heads in order to be able to win this game. I mean, I just plain and simple need 4 heads. Gotta go for the Spike Cannon. 3... Okay, I get 3. Not good enough. I need to get 4. And, okay, so I lose. Yeah, and the game just gave me a big middle finger right there. It's like, oh, you needed to win. Here's 4 tails. So that match started off well. Unfortunately, was just atrocious by the end in terms of my luck and how much my opponent was able to top deck. I mean, don't get me wrong. My opponent's deck was... I mean, my opponent's deck build ended up beating mine. So that build ended up beating it. It's just unfortunate that my opponent drew into the exact cards that would put me in a horrible position every single time. Because, I mean, if he had drawn the Flare Grunt and the Delinquent, even not necessarily in the... Even in the... If he had not drawn the Delinquent and Team Flare Grunt in the order that he did, I would have won. But my opponent got the perfect Crushing Hammerheads, the perfect cards when he needed it. And so, I mean, that's just unfortunate right there. Yes, it does happen, but doesn't mean that it's any less frustrating to have to deal with. But either way, Toxapex was able to do pretty well. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, despite the appearance of pretzel sticks right at the end. But thank you guys again. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Sticks, signing out. Why not? See you guys.